Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am financial planner Canna Campbell. So a couple of weeks ago, I made a special video for you guys sharing with you my top 7 tips for small business owners. And this video did really well with so many amazing questions and great feedback. You loved it. So I decided I wanted to make you another video, but coming from a different perspective, coming from the perspective of helping you protect your individual, personal, financial well-being as a small business owner. Because we all know that running your own business is exciting, it's liberating, it's empowering, but also at times it can be very stressful and there are lots of additional risks involved when you're self-employed. So that is what I want to address with you today. Now, before we begin, please take a second to make sure you're number 1, you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, and number 2, that notification bell is switched on. And number 3, always remember that all of my content is general advice only. All right, now that you've switched on that notification bell, let's get started. All right, tip number 1, emergency money. I can't stress how important it is to make sure you have emergency money and you have enough emergency money. You need to sit down and work out how much emergency money you need for your individual financial situation. I'm really sorry, but there's no magical formulas or numbers as to how much emergency money you should need. You need to work out what's right for you. Look at the responsibilities that you have in your life and the risks involved. Add up the cost of those things that could potentially happen, and that will start to give you a clearer idea as to how much emergency money you really need. And you would look at things like, what are your financial responsibilities, such as rent or a mortgage, whether you have young children, how good is your health, whether you've got, say, family overseas. What if something happened and you need to suddenly jump on a plane? How much money would you need? That is why you need emergency money and enough emergency money. And please keep in mind, it's not just the cost of one thing going wrong. Sometimes a couple of things go wrong all at the same time. So you need to prepare for that and have that money set aside in a separate dedicated savings account in your individual name. Now, if you don't have that money yet, please make sure you start saving up for that money as soon as you possibly can. Also, by having emergency money, you find a lot less stress on your shoulders being someone who's self-employed running their own small business. But tip number 2 is to make sure you set up your small business the right way the first time. This is where I really recommend investing in a good quality accountant to help you set up your business the right way, whether it be using a company structure, whether it be using a trust structure. It is really important because there are so many different tax concessions available that are popping up and changing and evolving all the time. And you want to make sure that you set yourself up correctly so that you can maximize those and you're entitled to those. Also, when you have a good accountant, they can explain to you what expenses might be deductible and what are not. And it can help you make sure that you're making the most and running your business as efficiently as possible. A classic example I see is people paying for business expenses out of their own personal pocket, such as a mobile phone. Now, that person may have taken out a mobile phone contract a couple of years ago, and they're actually using that mobile phone for businesses. So the business technically should be paying for it, but they don't realize and they're just paying for themselves. This is where a great accountant can help you maximize your deductions and any concessions that you might be entitled to. Tip number 3 is separate accounts. It is so important that you have your personal financial affairs separated from your business accounts. That is 2 different accounts, your business account and your personal account. You never want to mix them because that will mean that you can't clearly understand and see what the cost of running your business is and how much money your business is making. Also over here, when you have your personal expenses set aside, you can see what your cost of living is, you can see your true budget, and you can work out what stays and what goes, particularly if you're going through, say, a tight period in your business and you need to rein it in. When you have just one bank account where you're combining all your business expenses and business income and taking out your personal living expenses out of this, it's a mess. You have no clarity or understanding where your business stands. And that brings me back to that other video where I said you need to know your numbers. So separate them so you can quarantine them and identify and investigate them separately. This is so important. Also, it's going to make life a lot easier when it comes to doing your taxes. Tip number 4 is superannuation. I know you're probably rolling your eyes going, boring superannuation, but think about it. The more money you have in your superannuation account when you go to retire, the better your retirement is going to be. It is so easy as a self-employed person to think, you know what, no, I'm pumping all this money into the business. I'm not going to make any superannuation payments. Okay, I hear this all the time, and this conversation goes on for years and years and years. And then when the person goes to retire, they realize they've barely got anything at all in super because they've just had that excuse going on. What I recommend you do is just put at least a small amount into superannuation each month, and making sure that you slowly and steadily increase it when you can afford to. Now keep in mind there are caps as to how much money you can put into superannuation. And also check with your accountant that you're doing the deductions into superannuation the right way, because sometimes you need to be claiming it as a personal tax deduction for any superannuation contributions, and sometimes they're tax deductions to the business. But when you're self-employed and you're running your own small business, there's no one paying your superannuation guarantee anymore. So it's so important that you cover that and you regularly put money into superannuation for yourself. And then my fifth and final tip for you running your small business, and that is to make sure your small business works for you and your individual financial needs. Running your own small business is hard work. There's no such thing as a public holiday or, switching off or 9 to 5. We work all sorts of weird and wonderful hours, quite often throughout the weekends and through the night. You don't want to become a slave to your small business, because that's not why you got into business in the first place. You want to make sure your business works for you. So not only should you have financial goals for your business, but you should also have financial goals for yourself. Make sure your business is helping give you a great lifestyle, but also it's giving you a good lifestyle that you can then pump money into your own personal individual goals, such as having goals to invest in property or invest in shares or invest in term deposits or bonds or whatever your heart desires. Make sure you're able to use your small business to your lifestyle and financial advantage. Now, I really hope that this video has helped give you a much greater sense of responsibility and tasks that you need to take as an individual to run a successful business and also protect your own financial well-being at the same time. You know that you need emergency money set aside. You started doing that already. Number 2, you know that you need to speak to an accountant to check your financial setup to make sure the structures are right and you're making the most of any entitlements and concessions that are available to you right now and well into the future if you ever go to sell your business. Number 3, you know the importance of having separate dedicated savings account for your business and from your finances. They're completely separated because it gives you that clarity and understanding of where you stand financially on both fronts. And number 4, you know the importance of superannuation, and it is not to be skipped. It's got to be factored into the running costs of your business. And of course 5, you have all those really exciting, empowering and amazing goals set up for yourself financially as well as for your business. You know how important it is so that your business is working for you and sending you on the right path, the right direction to a bigger, better and happier world where you feel completely liberated and empowered at all times. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure you have definitely switched on that notification bell, and of course you can always reach out to me on Instagram at SugarMammaTV or on my personal Instagram account at Canna Campbell Official. Alright everyone, have a great week, and don't forget to make sure you listen to my podcast on Sugar Mama's FIREPLAY every Monday morning. Ciao for now.